that game was over at halftime. And I think that's the most important thing that could start being a weekly thing, or it could be a every other week thing. The Texans had 2 significant advantages yesterday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Despite the fact the offensive line was depleted, they had 2 very significant advantages. One at the most important position, quarterback. I don't know what C.J. Stroud's going to end up being. He's better than Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
He's better than Kenny Pickett.
Already.
And offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick is better than that Canada guy, who, by the way, might be the biggest idiot I've ever seen call a game. They came out there empty on 4th and 1. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that was those 2 advantages, and we're not used to this, especially when you don't have your full squad. Those 2 advantages, we've been trained to think, oh, man, you got to have a full-strength offensive line. You're not allowed to scheme guys up. You're not allowed to help out. They helped out. C.J. Stroud, after getting beat up on by the Indianapolis Colts, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not. He gets sacked 6 times. We're talking about record-setting paces. He goes up there and says, my guys are battling, and I'm proud of these guys, and, I'll go to war with these guys anytime. Since then, the offensive line has gotten even more depleted, and he hasn't been sacked in 2 damn weeks. When's the last time a Texans quarterback didn't get sacked in consecutive weeks, especially with what they got going there?
No, this you opened the show talking about how much better can it get? It can get a lot better, man. Real deal in a sense of I'm not going to shrug against any team, really. Not on this schedule. I'm not going to think twice about having a chance to win. That's number one. But the other thing is the Texans have something that a lot of NFL teams don't have, much less the history of the Texans, and that is the combination of a top-tier quarterback and a top-tier offensive coordinator. That you talk about sweeping takeaways and all that. I always like to do that. For me, the sweeping takeaway is, boy, you can sleep well at night as a football fan knowing that you got Bobby Slowick calling the plays and C.J. Stroud pulling the trigger. You can just sleep better at night. I mean, it's and we'll get into it more, I know, but that was a thing of beauty. I mean, an absolute thing of beauty in all phases. I mean, not just offense and defense, special teams as well. It makes you believe that this team can win any game on the schedule.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Because I don't want this to be looked at the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had them in the 7-9 win total before the season. 7-9.
I said 7.
Yeah, they ran the promo saying I said 9, so I'll just go with that. Let's pull that promo
Especially
up.
Especially now.
Yeah, let's just pull that promo up.
Yeah.
I don't even think they played their best. And that's when you start trying to look ahead and you start saying, all right, how high is the ceiling? Because floor is your worst case scenario. Ceiling is like your best case scenario. I don't think the Texans are going to this year be on par with like the Chiefs, Bills, even the Dolphins, despite their loss yesterday. But I watched that game yesterday, and they won by 24 points. And honestly, I don't think they played their best. I think there is still a lot of teachable moments for DeMeco Ryans. I think the defense can play better. I think once the offensive line comes back, they can play better. You heard C.J. Stroud after the game. You want to talk about someone who doesn't drink the tea. I mean, my God, that dude goes up there and he's basically talking about what they need to improve and all that type of stuff. That to me is when you really can judge a team that has an increasing ceiling. Let's just say an increasing ceiling is I watched that game. It was great. Wasn't in doubt after the first 2 quarters. But I still think there's some meat left on the bone.
There is.
They ain't even got all the players back, man.
Right. That's the main thing, and I totally agree with you on that, on the offensive line and some of these other things. But as far as like getting the field goals early, settling for the field goals, I get it. I mean, that was the Steelers over there. That was Mike Tomlin over there. I mean, and in the NFL, there's going to be those hiccups in given drives. So I get your point, but I'll put it this way. Do you know the last time the Texans won by as many as 24 points in a game?
Was it Tennessee?
It was Tennessee.
2017?
Before the Astros won their first World Series.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been.
And that was the same vibe that I had as I left this game because that was Deshaun's rookie year. That was when Dylan Cole kind of capped it off with the pick six.
Yeah.
And you were walking out of there with the quiet confidence because you felt like you had a quarterback and you felt like you had a team that had an increase in ceiling. And that was the exact same feeling that I had walking out of there with all the Steelers fans, all the Texans fans.
Yeah.
It was the exact same vibe.
Yeah. I mean, it was absolutely the same vibe, and it goes to show you it's one thing to be a team that can win some games, and you're going to win some games that are ugly, etc. But you know a team is good when they face a squad that is legitimate, and I know Kenny Pickett, whatever, but it's still the Steelers. They had that pass rush. They were facing the injured offensive line. They had Najee Harris, all this other stuff, and you just whip them. I mean, you just whipped them in every phase. That's when you know you're on to something.
I also thought it was interesting. We talked about Austin Deculus is starting at left tackle, and they brought in Christian off the street. I thought it was an interesting decision to go basically 54-46% rotating those guys, and we don't see that a lot, but they were rotating the left tackle and they were kind of keeping them fresh. And I thought that was an interesting approach from our guy Bobby Slowick, who was on the show last week, and now here the Texans are. We're 4 weeks into the season, and it's a 4-way tie in the AFC South. You basically have a 13-game season in the AFC South. I don't think anyone would say this was the easiest stretch for the Texans if you're going to divide it up into the old quarters, even though you have the extra game. And you're 2-2. You got to feel good. Let's hear from the man himself, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud on the expectations for this team moving forward.
We don't have no expectations. We trying to do one play, one thing at a time. I feel like when you go in a game trying to do anything that you put already to your mind, it usually doesn't happen that way. And that's how I kind of live my life, man. Just living where my feet are at, and working really hard to make that one thing happen. Doing my job because I trust my brother to do his. But yeah, when you put in that work there in practice, you expect success, but you only give yourself a chance. It's not nothing is set in stone in this league. This league's really hard. And you only give yourself an opportunity to make the play. It's up to you to go do it. So I definitely feel like, it's a better feeling when you put it in practice, but it doesn't guarantee anything.
I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe him. And you'll hear him at 11. My God, this dude at the podium. Fantastic. Texans win 30-6.
He threw the prettiest ball I've seen at NRG Stadium in long
The final Nico? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Dude. Boy, any questions, by the way?
Bobby Slowick a jerk?
Why?
And they were running that thing up on them, man. I'm serious.
You know him, Mike and McDaniel friends then.
I don't mind it. But
put
damn,
70
Bobby.
on their ass.
Damn, Bobby. Going like that.
Something about them Shanahan.
Hey, we are not
Shanahan
there yet.
tree,
We're not quite there yet. Let's not get too spoiled.
Yeah, Bobby.
Let's not get too spoiled.
Had to do him like that?
Dude, I love that dude. I love Bobby Slowick's offense. I just love his play calling. I love his offense. Love what he's doing. I put this down on the doc. I think there were two moments that pretty much sealed the deal that this guy is really, really, really a good play caller. And the first one was end of the first half.
When he went aggressive, because I'll be honest, I looked over to Sean and said, "I'll take it to the house here if they don't mind."
No, I wouldn't.
13, I'll take it to the house.
I wouldn't have argued, but there's 41 seconds left. There's 41 seconds left in the half.
54.
But there was 41 after the first play.
How quick did they get up to that damn line of scrimmage and spike it twice?
Yeah. So in that,
they are obviously pretty organized too. I'm not used to that.
Well, thank you, because that's what I'm going to talk about. So let's say 54. 54 seconds left.
Shot the other play.
They ran 7 plays.
2 plays.
Landry, they ran 7 plays. 2 of them were spikes, but still, they got up to the line, got organized.
No,
My man had to play.
CJ even looked up before they kicked the field goal and let it go down even more so that he could spike it to where they wouldn't have to kick off.
That is organization and play calling at an elite level. Yes, I said elite level. All right, then there's the second one. You always talk about chess, not checkers. This blew me away. You know what I'm talking about?
Let me think about this.
Chess, not checkers. It was freaking gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
The halfback pass where they set it up with Singletary before?
Singletary ran the ball. He
ran the ball twice.
3 times. He put Singletary in. All right?
So I guessed it?
Yeah. And then he ran Singletary for 6 yards, 9 yards, and 1 yard. And then he gave the ball to Singletary again. Boom. Halfback pass. Dude, that's elite play calling. That is elite.
He's thinking ahead, man.
It's chess, not checkers.
Thinking ahead.